Hello, gorgeous pagan people. My name is Eric, and welcome to Wednesday of Subsweek here on the Pagan Perspective. This week, our question comes from Sim and the City 85, and they're asking how to start a conversation of coming out of the broom closet if I became a pagan later in life and I need to tell my husband. How can I bring this up? This is the right path for me, but I'm scared. Neither of us are churchgoers either. This is a really interesting question, and kind of like gossipy, you know what I mean? Like a juicy question. Like how do I tell my boyfriend I'm a witch? I love that. So I do have a couple of things that I want to talk about, but I will just preface by saying I came out as pagan very young. I was like 12 or 13 when I sort of discovered the craft and started walking on that path. And I've never really been in a long-term relationship, so I don't have a husband or wife, I guess. And so I don't have like those kind of relationships to go off and give you advice from. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about in this video, I think, is maybe just points that I've picked up from other people around this same sort of topic, and just like maybe expand on that with some personal experience that I'm having at the moment, because I'm sort of going through a similar thing. Anybody who's seen videos from me before may know that I have an interest in voodoo, and I've always sort of held it at arm's reach, but the Loa are being very persistent at the moment and calling me to study and initiate, which is why I haven't really been posting on my personal channel, if you also follow me there, because I'm sort of in this transition phase right now. So I'm sort of doing the same thing. I'm sort of like going through all of my personal relationships and saying like, I think I'm really gonna focus on voodoo for a while and really dedicate to this, and maybe like lay off my business and sort of really focus in on this. And so I'm sort of coming out in a similar sort of way. The first thing though, I think, when we're talking about coming out of the broom closet, like obviously if you can and it's safe for you to do so, definitely do it. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a religion. I don't think that's something that we should be ashamed of or have to hide. I don't really see why that would be such a big deal. But that said, if you're in a space, like, this is advice we definitely give to, like, younger people, especially if they're from conservative or Christian households, is, like, if it's gonna put you in danger, don't tell anyone. Just focus on your meditation, do what you can without any sort of ritual tools or props or books of shadows. Just, Google things and delete your history. Like, just be, chill about it until you're in a space where it's safe for you to really delve into those things. And like obviously I don't know what sort of relationship you have with your husband. I imagine it's one of love and communication, but I can't be sure of that. So that would be my first advice, is don't do anything that's going to put you in danger, even if you're not churchgoers. If he does still have those Christian beliefs, this is something that you need to sort of test the waters with, I think. I think as well, like coming back to my situation, right now it's just been about explaining to people like the relationship that I have with the Loa and how much I feel called by this, and just sort of explaining what this means to me, how I'm feeling, what it's doing to me, and how exciting it is, and how honored I feel to have been chosen for this, and like all these, like these are the feelings that I'm describing to people. And it's like, yes, I will have to take a break from the pagan spaces that I'm in, in my meat space communities, and I'll have to lay off on some of the Solomonic work that I'm doing and things like that. But it's like, for me, it's really like I'm trying to focus on what I'm going to gain from this instead of what I'd be sort of losing for a little while as I sort of focus in on this one thing. And so, like, for me, it's, like, really just explaining, like, I'm not making declarations. I'm not saying, hi, guys, I'm a voodooist now. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just talking about how, like, my divinations are saying that I'm being called to this, and, I'm feeling the effects of the Loa in my life, and, I think it's really beautiful, and I feel so honored, and, I really want to focus on this right now. I'm not making declarations. So I think in the same sort of way, that advice might be helpful to you, or that example might be useful to you. Explain to your husband, like, this is a thing that I found that I'm reading about, and it looks really cool, and I feel really called to it. Maybe have a look and see if there's like a local ritual that's happening, and be like, I kind of want to go and see what this is all about. Do you want to come with me? And include him into that. Include him into your explorations of that. And instead of like just being like, I'm gonna be a witch now, it's like, like, this is a thing. Did you even know this was a thing? What is your opinion on this thing? Let's explore this thing because I want to know what it's all about. Like, in doing it in that way and communicating it in that way and incorporating him and not just making decisions. Because, of course, when you're in a relationship, especially when you're married and you're living together and all those sorts of things, like, your financial decisions, you don't just be like, I bought a car today. Or maybe you do. I don't know what your relationship is like, but I would never do that in a relationship, making those kind of huge financial decisions. So if you're going to make a huge spiritual tradition, a spiritual decision, you'd want to include him in that deliberation process as well. You'd want his advice, you'd want his opinions on these things. I assume, again, like, yeah, total disclaimer, I don't know you or your relationship, this is just my assumptions. So, like, yeah, like, open up and, like, really communicate with them, and, like, share with them what you're reading and what you're discovering. Like, if you've got a book, like, let them read it, or watch good movies, put on The Love Witch, or something like that that sort of has those, like, blatantly pagan kind of elements in them, and sort of get his feedback and test those waters before you really dive in and say, like, I'm going to join this local coven now, so I'll be off doing something without you for several hours every weekend, because that can put strain on a relationship. If you are looking at, joining initiatory craft and things like that, it's much better for couples to enter those kind of systems together. So yeah, bring him in and incorporate him and talk about how you're feeling and what it's making you feel and what you're experiencing, instead of like trying to download facts. It would be all too easy, like, just to be like, Wicca, it's a religion that was sort of founded in the 50s and, all this sort of stuff. And, like, you don't really need to go into that at that sort of level. Like, it's just having that conversation and being like, this is a cool thing and it's making me feel this way and I kind of want to explore it. Will you explore it with me? And I think that's the best way to approach it, in my personal opinion. So yeah, again, disclaimer, like, don't put yourself in any danger, please. Don't feel like you have to come out of the broom closet if you're not ready to. But also, it's just a religion. Don't be afraid to share with people what you're experiencing. And, if these are people that would have an input on your financial decisions, like, maybe that's somebody that you want to consider the opinion of in this space as well. But yeah, I would say bring them into that decision-making process. I'm definitely rambling now. This one might be on the shorter side, but I hope that you have gotten something from it. And I hope that you guys are all well. So until I speak to you next time, mwah, bye.